SpongeBob deleted and banned scenes. Hi, SpongeBob fans! We've always thought about SpongeBob SquarePants as our favorite, funny, kind-hearted, and colorful show. But do you know that some of the scenes of the show didn't pass the final cut? Well, get comfortable, because here are some cut and deleted scenes that you can find in SpongeBob SquarePants. Number 1. Scaredy Pants. Halloween was just a month ago, but we would like to start this video with a small, terrifying story. Coming straight from the first season of the show, we present you Scaredy Pants. In this episode, SpongeBob has an encounter with the Flying Dutchman, and he ends up becoming a ghost for Halloween. But it's not the most terrifying thing that happened in this episode, because some scenes were so scary that they weren't shown on TV. In the initial plans for the episode, there was a scene in which a close-up of SpongeBob with his whole brain exposed was going to appear. This was due to the fact that the Flying Dutchman was going to remove SpongeBob's costume and left his brain totally exposed because his face was used to make his ghost costume earlier. This was so funny that even Bikini Bottom's most famous ghost ran away in complete terror. But let's continue with this episode. This episode also had a really cool detail deleted because after 2020, Nickelodeon USA decided to cut one of SpongeBob's last lines in the episode. This moment had SpongeBob saying, "Don't worry, it grows back," while the screen faded to black. This maybe was a decision caused by the timing in which this phrase was said, or maybe Nickelodeon didn't like it at all. The funny thing is, if we watch the scene and the episode on other streaming platforms, this moment is left untouched. What a great way to start our video. Number 2. Procrastination. Jumping from the first season of the show to the second one, we have another episode filled with deleted scenes. In a Season 2 classic, SpongeBob procrastinates a lot on his way to finishing an essay for the boating school, which leads to some super funny moments, and he even dreams about his procrastination in his sleep. This SpongeBob guy is always thinking about work, no matter what. But like we said before, let's take a look at what was changed before this episode did get aired. The first thing is right at the moment where SpongeBob is sadly watching his friends playing on the outside while he's occupied trying to finish his rough homework. In the original cut of the episode, Patrick was rubbing Sandy's back with sun lotion and greeting SpongeBob to join this funny time alongside his beloved friends. This scene was finally deleted because, in some points of view, it looked like Patrick was trying to untie Sandy's bikini, which gave an unnecessary sexual tone to a friendly scene. The second one was tied to SpongeBob's bad ability as a driver. There was a scene in which SpongeBob imagines himself having a driving license and competing in a car race. The race ended up with SpongeBob crashing into the wall, and probably Nickelodeon thought that this was too violent for a kids show. And here comes the last one for this episode. Much like the first one, the episode had a scene in which some of the actions that were going on were a little too obscene. In this scene, while SpongeBob is practicing calisthenics, his nose was moving in a way that was considered unusual, and Nickelodeon decided to cut this from the final airing of this episode. Number 3. Just one bite. Who would have thought that Squidward would end up addicted to Krabby Patties? Well, this happened in Season 3's episode Just One Bite, but this is not the strangest thing that happened in this episode for sure, because we have a lot of material to talk about. Let's watch it together.
There it is, unguarded. All I have to do is... Wait, it's too easy. Hey, this isn't water. This is... gas.
The scene that we just watched is one scene that didn't make the final cut of the episode, disappearing right before airing. In this scene, we see that Squidward is trying to calm his anxiety for a Krabby Patty by infiltrating Mr. Krabs' restaurant during the night. Poor Squidward, he's trying to steal things from his own workplace. Sure, his addiction was hard to deal with. During his incursion to the Krusty Krab, he finds that there's a trap on the door waiting for him. A cube filled with gasoline ready to fall onto whoever opens the restaurant's door without being careful enough, and some fire ready to light that gasoline and burn every intruder who tries to steal the secret formula. Mr. Krabs knows how to protect his formula from anything. This scene was cut from the final footage because the original air of the episode was during late 2001, right after the September 11th, 2001 attacks. This led Nickelodeon to classify this footage as inadequate for the moment and decided to erase this from their final plans for this adventure. Looking in retrospect, this was a clever decision to make and a very respectful one. Also, being a kids show, erasing this scene also prevented kids from playing with matches and fire. One wise message made by Nickelodeon. Number 4, SpongeBob in Randomland. We know that Squidward is a super rational person, right? But what would happen if he goes to Randomland? Well, the animators decided to put our favorite squid in this situation during the 12th season of the show, in one of its funniest episodes ever. In this episode, we have a very funny deleted scene that of course revolves around our protagonist in this episode, Squidward. There's a moment where Squidward opens a door, and as soon as he opens it, he finds a room that is the same as his own bedroom, and suddenly it turns static and a Squidward with red eyes appears on screen, which will later create one of the creepiest theories in the show's history. This theory said that this red-eyed Squidward was Squidward after committing suicide. To run away from this, Nickelodeon decided to change this right before airing the episode and replacing this strange sight with a baby Squidward. The uncensored version was included on the Nick app until it was removed in July 2021. To this day, the original version can only be found in the Canadian channel YTV and the Latin American version of Nickelodeon. Number 5, I Was a Teenage Gary. Some videos ago, we talked about this episode as one of the creepiest episodes from SpongeBob SquarePants. But if watching SpongeBob turning himself into a snail was scary enough, we also found that this episode changed a little bit right before airing. Let's take a look at how the episode changed.
Meow, 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 meow.
Meow, 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 meow.
From 2020 onward, during the ending scene, we saw Squidward saying meow, 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 meow. But in the Nickelodeon USA editing of the show, the number of times he says meow is cut. This was made to synchronize the ending of the episode with the fading of the screen, which was clearly discordant. This may look strange, but in the digital and streaming releases of Amazon Prime, Paramount, and iTunes, this scene was left untouched. So there you have it. These are 5 deleted scenes that you can find in SpongeBob SquarePants. If you liked the video, please let us know in the comments so we can provide you with more SpongeBob content. Until the next time, goodbye!